she is the sports graphic designer for Panther City, along with the Dallas Wings and UT Arlington. She also does photography as well. Welcome to the Today Show, Abigail Rosenbaum. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, y'all. I really appreciate it.
No, that's awesome. We're very happy to have you on tonight. I guess to kick things off, kind of our first question is, are you originally from Texas, or what's kind of your journey to ending up in the state?
Yeah, so I am from here. I was born in Dallas, but grew up in Burleson, south of Fort Worth. Grew up there, and I've spent 24 years of my life, so most of my life here in Texas. So,
oh wow,
hometown gal.
That's awesome. No, actually, I have family in Burleson who live there right now. So, and they've been there for years and years. And my parents actually just moved down there about 4 or 5 years ago. So, you know, it's a nice area. I've been down there very many times.
Yeah, you know, any city that can produce the first American Idol winner, what's there to complain about?
I know that's the one thing that they can hang their hat on. I mean, honestly, if you've been to Burleson in the last few years, which I mean, a lot of our fans are around Fort Worth area anyway, it really is a nice area, and it's up and coming still, even with their like downtown places, what they're putting in there and different restaurants and stuff. So
yeah, population's about to, I think, push over 40,000 this year. So
oh wow,
there you go.
So we saw that you were a UT Arlington graduate in 2018 with a BFA in visual communications, and particularly in graphic design. We're wondering what kind of throughout your childhood and growing up, what led you to pursue this field, and in particular as it relates to kind of more athletic, active endeavors. Like we'll go into the things that you've done design work for in the future, but yeah, could you go into what kind of led you towards graphic design?
Yeah, so I would say I've always been like a artsy kid, you know. Unfortunately, I was not one of those who can't draw, can't paint, not a sculptor kind of person. I put my best effort forward every time, but not my strong suit. And so I would say that kind of started it. I actually initially went to college at UTA to get a film degree, and got partway through that and just realized it was not for me at all. Just wasn't quite what I wanted to do. And then, so I was like, what am I going to switch my degree program to? Looked at all the different options. I'm not a math person. I'm not a science person, not an English major, politics, anything like that. So I looked more closely at what was offered in the arts department and settled on the visual communications degree. Which it's just graphic design. I always, whenever I tell people what my degree is, I say it's just a fancy word for graphic design.
It makes it
because they always
sound
think
better.
it's a communications degree. Yeah, you know. And so did that, graduated with that in 2018, as mentioned. And in terms of getting into sports, towards the end, my last year, I did 2 different internships. One of them was my second to last semester in college. I interned with a sports media company that's based in Dallas and Toronto, worked with their Dallas branch. Thought it was interesting, wasn't quite what I wanted. Was still trying to figure out what my career was, just because I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew at least I was getting a degree, and then after that, I didn't quite have it figured out. And then I interned with FC Dallas my last semester of college, which, for anyone who doesn't know, that's our MLS pro soccer team in the area. And that got me hooked on the behind the scenes and everything that goes on with sports, and made me fall in love with it, and gave me a passion I didn't realize I had. Because even though I had played sports growing up, played sports maybe isn't quite the right word. I did long distance cycling, me and my dad.
Oh, that counts.
And I raced very briefly in college. In middle school, I did pole vaulting, and in college, I did ultimate frisbee. So a very non-traditional sports path. I knew I enjoyed it. I've learned I'm not the most competitive person in those instances, which is why racing didn't work out for me. I was on the bike to have fun, not to race. And so that plus that internship just really sparked the interest in working in the sports industry.
That's awesome, actually. No, that's really cool. I mean, getting a chance to work with any sports team, I think, is really awesome in itself. But what got you started with Panther City, and how's that experience been so far?
Yeah. So when I I had heard of Panther City because with last year being the inaugural year, I was in the area. I heard about it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. At the time, I was working with UTA athletics department. And so their games and everything, I wasn't able to coincide with home games and things like that to go work Panther City because, as y'all know, college basketball is a big thing. And UTA is, fun fact, one of the 2 public universities in the state of Texas without a football team. So college basketball is what we went all in on. And so that just didn't really line up. So I wasn't able to go to any of the games of their inaugural season. But I knew that they were in the area. And then a job opened up with the Dallas Wings. And I saw that they were co-owners. And so it was initially going to go work with the Dallas Wings. I'm a big proponent of women's sports in general. And then working on Panther City has actually been something I've really fallen in love with. I'm a big hockey fan, and you know what? There's a lot of overlap between the two. So,
right,
kind of how I ended up working for Panther City.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, obviously, we've talked about it in our show previously, like hockey influences, basketball influences. They kind of all mesh together, and that's why we enjoy box lacrosse, especially, for sure.